I never set out to find it. I was just using Emily's old phone, the one she discarded without a second thought, when a notification popped up. It was a group chat I'd never seen before. I tapped it open, and my heart nearly stopped. She's so pathetic. She'll always put us first, even when we treat her like garbage. My mother's name, my sister's name, their words about me. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Before I share what happened next, tell me, where are you listening from? And honestly, what would you have done before that night? From the outside, my life looked peaceful. Quiet streets, a modest house in the suburbs, a family that smiled for photos but never in the same room. I used to think that was normal. I convinced myself everyone's home felt like walking on eggshells. I grew up learning to shrink myself. My mother preferred it that way, said it made things easier. Emily, 3 years older and always the favorite, filled every space she entered. She had the confidence my mother adored, the dreams my mother encouraged, the needs my mother always put first. And then there was me, Valentina, the one who made dinner after school, paid the bills when mom forgot, and picked up Emily from parties because family shows up. I worked full-time, but in that house, I was still expected to be the one who cleaned up everyone else's mess. The strange thing is, I didn't see it as unfair, not at first. Kids grow into the roles they're given, and mine was clear: keep the peace, stay useful, don't complain. So I did. I woke up early to pack lunches, cleaned the kitchen before work, sent payments. Mom always promised to pay me back next week. I listened to Emily talk about dresses, bridesmaids, venues, color palettes, everything she assumed I'd help pay for. She'd say, "You know I can't do this without you." And Mom would echo, "Your sister's under a lot of pressure." But neither ever asked if I was. The hardest part wasn't the work. It was how invisible they made me feel, even as they expected me to hold everything together. I'd set dinner on the table, and Mom would criticize the seasoning before even tasting it. Emily would scroll through her phone during conversations, only looking up when she needed something. There was a moment last month, small, forgettable to them, but it stuck to me like a bruise. I'd just come home from a 10-hour shift, exhausted, and all I wanted was a moment to breathe. Instead, Mom handed me a list of wedding errands, and Emily added, "Oh, and I need you to transfer the deposit for the venue tomorrow. It's easier if you handle it." No, please. No, is this okay? Just expectation, obligation, a role I never chose. Back then, I still believed their love was complicated, not conditional. I still wanted to belong, to be seen, to matter. But after reading that group chat, after seeing my name next to their laughter, everything I thought I knew about my place in this family shattered. And what spilled out wasn't sadness, it was clarity. The kind that changes everything. The morning after I read those messages, nothing looked different, but everything felt changed. I moved through the house like a ghost who just realized she was dead. Mom called my name from the kitchen, telling me to hurry because Emily needed help with her wedding budget. I answered the way I always did, coming, but the word felt empty, like it belonged to someone else. At breakfast, Emily complained about her florist overcharging her. Mom chimed in about how people take advantage of brides, and both glanced at me like I was the obvious solution. I stirred my coffee, pretending not to feel the sting behind my eyes. Emily reached across the table, tapping her nails on my mug. "You're still sending the venue deposit today, right? They said they can only hold the date until this afternoon." I forced a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Yeah, I'll take care of it." She nodded, satisfied, never noticing how tightly I gripped the handle. The rest of the week blurred by in silent realizations. I watched them more closely, like I was seeing a play I'd memorized but never truly understood. Emily left her laundry on the couch, knowing I'd fold it. Mom asked for help with her bills again. They expected, assumed, took, and every time, their words from the group chat echoed in my mind like a slap. "She's so pathetic. She'll always put us first." They weren't venting. They weren't joking. They meant it. That was what hollowed me out. That Friday, I sat alone in my room after work, staring at my reflection in the dark window. The girl looking back wasn't pathetic. She was tired, yes, and hurt. But there was something alive behind her eyes, a spark of someone who had finally seen the truth. Then everything tipped. Emily barged into my room without knocking, phone in hand. The venue's calling again. They still don't have the payment. Did you even send it? I blinked slowly. I thought I did. She scoffed. Well, clearly you didn't. Can you do it now? Mom already told them you're handling it. That last line, Mom already told them, hit differently this time. It wasn't a request. It was an order, arranged on my behalf without my consent. Like always. In the hallway, I could hear Mom on the phone. Valentina will take care of it. She always does. Always. Something inside me clicked into place. Something final. I stood up, and Emily paused, sensing a shift. My voice was calm, steady, even to my own ears. I'll look into it. Emily narrowed her eyes. Can you be serious for once? This is my wedding. There it was again, the assumption that my life existed to cushion hers. But instead of reacting, I smiled, a small, careful smile that hid everything I knew. I'll take care of it, I said. And she left, satisfied. She had no idea what was coming. Because in that moment, I made a decision, quiet, sharp, and irreversible. If they thought I'd always put them first, if they thought I'd keep carrying their burdens, I'd let them believe it. Just long enough for me to finally walk away. On the surface, nothing changed. I still woke before sunrise, still brewed coffee for 3, still packed my lunch in the same old container. But inside, something had shifted, quiet and permanent. I became an observer in my own home. Every demand, every sigh, every Valentina, can you register differently now, not as responsibility, but as evidence. One evening, Mom called me into the living room, waving a stack of unopened bills. Sort these out for me, sweetheart. I'm exhausted. I took them, but this time, I didn't feel guilt. I felt distance, the kind that grows when you finally see someone without their mask. Emily drifted in, flopping down beside Mom with a dramatic groan. The bakery wants the cake payment by next week. You'll handle that too, right? I nodded, the perfect helper, the reliable buffer. But while they talked, I slipped my phone into my lap, checking the new bank account I'd opened that morning. My entire savings, years of skipped lunches, overtime, holidays spent working, was already transferred. Safe. Finally mine. That night, while Emily showered and Mom watched TV, I quietly pulled a small suitcase from under my bed. I packed only what mattered, work clothes, a sweater I'd bought on sale, a framed photo from before my family learned to turn my worth into currency. Then I slid the suitcase back into the closet. Neither of them noticed. The next day, during my lunch break, I signed the lease for a tiny apartment across town. The manager handed me the key and smiled. Fresh start. I nodded. And for the first time in years, it felt true. But the real fracture came 2 nights later. Emily stormed into my room, mascara smudged, hair wild. The venue called again. If they don't get the payment tonight, the date's gone. Why haven't you sent it? I looked up from my laptop. I thought Mom handled it. Emily's voice rose. Are you kidding me? She told them you're doing it. You always do it. Mom appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. We need that money, Valentina. Stop dragging your feet. Your sister's wedding can't fall apart because you're being emotional. Emotional? If only they knew. I closed my laptop gently. I'll take care of it. My tone must have thrown her off, because Emily paused, confused for the first time. But Mom didn't notice. She just huffed and walked away, muttering about ungrateful children. I watched them go, my heartbeat steady. They still believed I was theirs, obedient, predictable, endlessly available. And that was exactly what I needed them to think. Just a little longer. The breaking point came on a Wednesday night, the kind where the air feels heavy even indoors. I'd just come home from work when I heard my name echo through the hallway. Valentina. Emily's voice was sharp, panicked, furious. I walked into the living room to find her pacing, phone pressed to her ear, cheeks streaked with mascara. Mom stood beside her, arms folded, face tight with irritation. They just called again, Emily snapped. The venue is releasing the date. They said the payment never came. You said you'd handle it. Mom jabbed a finger at me. Stop playing games. Send the money now. Your sister is falling apart. I set my bag down and met their eyes. Really met them. Emily looked desperate in a way I'd never seen before, not humble, not sorry, just desperate because something she expected was slipping away. Mom looked like she was watching her favorite tool break. I took a breath. I don't have that money anymore. The room went silent. Emily blinked. What? I kept my voice even. I don't have that money anymore. I used it. The silence was thick and electric. Mom stepped forward. Used it for what? For me. Emily's face twisted like she'd been slapped. You spent my wedding money on yourself? It was never yours, I said calmly. It was mine. Every hour, every overtime shift, every paycheck. Mine. Emily's voice rose to a shriek. Are you insane? I told everyone you'd cover the deposit. You promised, I never promised. You demanded. Mom cut in, her voice soft but venomous. I didn't raise you to be selfish. I almost laughed. You didn't raise me at all. You just used me. Emily shook her head. Stop talking like this. You're just stressed. She grabbed my arm. We need that money. I pulled away. I'm not giving you anything. Her voice cracked. Valentina, this is my wedding. This is my life. Mom let out a sharp breath, done pretending. If you walk away now, don't expect anything from us again. No support, no family. That was when I realized she truly thought that was a threat. I'm not walking away, I said. I'm leaving. I picked up the suitcase from behind the couch, packed and ready for days. Emily staggered back. You were planning this? Of course I was. I turned to Mom. What did you think would happen? That I'd read what you wrote about me and keep paying? Keep serving? Keep pretending? Emily's lower lip trembled. You didn't mean it like that. You meant every word. Mom's nostrils flared. If you go, you'll regret it. I looked at her, really looked. For the first time, her power didn't touch me. I already regret staying. I walked to the door. Emily's voice cracked behind me. How could you do this to me? I didn't answer. I opened the door, rolled my suitcase through, and left the house where I'd spent years shrinking myself to fit their expectations. When the door clicked shut, it felt like a lifetime ending. My new apartment was tiny, but stepping inside felt like breathing for the first time. I slept without fear of someone banging on the door, asking for favors. I bought groceries, my groceries. I worked, came home, cooked whatever I wanted, and ate dinner in peace. Peace, the kind I'd never known. The first week, Emily's texts poured in. You ruined everything. Are you happy now? You're heartless. Answer me. I blocked her. Then Mom emailed, I hope you're proud of yourself. You broke this family. I deleted it. And Uncle chimed in next. She's devastated. Your mother can't sleep. Why are you doing this to them? I ignored every message until one from my cousin, the only one who ever treated me like a person. I heard what happened. I'm proud of you. They never deserved what you gave. I sat with that message for a long time. Relief settled in my chest, warm and steady. 3 weeks later, I ran into Emily at a cafe downtown. She looked smaller, her eyes dull, posture slouched like she'd been living on borrowed strength and finally ran out. Her eyes widened when she saw me. Valentina, can we talk? Her voice was so soft it barely sounded like her. For a moment, old habits tugged at me, the urge to fix, to comfort, to step in. But those instincts belonged to the girl they called pathetic. I wasn't her anymore. I walked right past, ordered my coffee, and left. When I glanced back through the window, she was still standing there, tears gathering, waiting for a version of me that no longer existed. The final confrontation came 4 days later, a hard, relentless knock on my apartment door. I knew that knock. I opened it just enough to see her, Mom, arms crossed, face carved from stone. You look well, she said, but her eyes were full of accusation, not pride. What do you want? I asked. Let me in. No, her jaw tightened. We need to talk. Then talk. Right there in the hallway, she tried every tactic she'd ever used, guilt, anger, nostalgia, cold logic. But none of it reached me anymore. You owe us, she said finally, after everything we've done for you. I shook my head. You didn't do things for me. You took from me. And now I'm done. Her face crumpled, not with sadness, but with the realization she no longer had control. I stepped back and closed the door. This time, the silence on the other side felt like victory. In the weeks that followed, something unexpected happened, nothing. No more knocks, no more guilt-laced messages. The silence that once terrified me now felt like a blanket I'd never been allowed to touch. Word eventually reached me through the few relatives I hadn't blocked. Emily's wedding had fallen apart. The venue gave her date away, the vendors pulled out, and the stress cracked whatever confidence she'd always worn like armor. Mom, without me to manage her bills and crises, was drowning in responsibilities she used to toss onto my shoulders. Meanwhile, my life felt lighter. I woke up without dread. I bought groceries without calculating who else needed something. I laughed with coworkers who liked me simply because I showed up and cared. I learned what quiet sounded like when it wasn't filled with obligation. For the first time, my future felt like something I got to choose, not something assigned to me. And the more distance I had from them, the clearer it became. Losing them wasn't a tragedy. It was freedom. A month later, I saw them again, Mom and Emily, sitting in a quiet cafe downtown. They looked nothing like the women who once towered over my life. Emily's shoulders were slumped, her eyes tired. Mom stared into her cup like it held all the answers she'd lost. They didn't notice me at first. When they finally did, their faces shifted, hope, then fear, then something like regret. For a moment, I wondered if they expected me to walk over and save them, the way I always had. But I wasn't theirs to lean on anymore. I gave them a small nod, acknowledgement, nothing more, and walked out into the bright afternoon. If you've ever had to choose yourself over the people who hurt you, share your story in the comments. And if this resonated with you, subscribe for the next one.